Good morning, gamers. It is time to look at another M+1. Today we have a long one. It's 24 Halls of Valor. So if you need a cup of coffee or tea, I will recommend you to grab it now and get ready for a solid one. First of all, in this one we have a bit better gear than we usually have. We waited yesterday and got 424 shoulders from Bootkeeper, and we got a big grief torch, which you'll see me playing a bit around with in this key. But yeah, first off we are collecting the pull, usually building a bit holy power, then getting on a horse, throwing a shield on the first thunder caller, if we're not sapping or caging it. Then we're getting closer to the dragon, we are sending sentinel, sending a bill, and then we're popping one of our smaller defenses. In this scenario we pop Tyr. In a second we'll pop Arden Defender here. Ideally you could pop it like right after each other, but in this case we had a Word of Glory and we wasn't dropping that low, so just hold it for a bit. Then we pop the Guardian, it's running out now, and at this point you would usually drop Bubble if you want to be safe, or especially if it's on a fortified week or it's waiting or something like that. But I still had my pots and I still held my Vok at that point, so I felt pretty safe. So I wanted to save it for the boss instead, since we can use it to remove the nasty bleed the boss gives when it hits, kind of like the bird boss in Algefar Academy, just a bit worse. But yeah, here we're popping our Black Inky Potion, because I don't know if it's just me, but I cannot see shit in this dungeon. Everything is orange. I usually have like glasses that's a bit orange also, and these small tornadoes, like when they get close to you, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like they almost get invisible. Like it's some nasty stuff. So I almost always pop the Blank Inky Potion, because I'm not gonna fuck with that. It's like a one shot if you get touched by one of those. But yeah, let's get back to the tanking. We pop Lust on the first pull, because it is where there's the biggest chance for something to go wrong. The boss is like, it's easy for your DPSer. They take a big hit, and then that's it basically. And so it's just about your tanking. Can you survive the hits? And the bleeds, and ideally your DPSer can of course bait the swords out on the edges. That is really nice, but not much else going on here. We're just trying to kind of have a defensive for each of the hits. You saw me bop one of the one earlier, like you taunt and then you bop to make sure it doesn't hit another player. Really strong if you don't have much defensives up or wanna save a few defensives. And then like it's same as in the other video where I talked about the bird boss in Algefar Academy. Try to survive as long as possible in your sentinel, because you get a lot of holy power there, so you get a lot of healing, you have a solid amount of damage reduction. Really want to play around with that. And since we didn't pop our potion at the first pack, which does give more damage, we popped it here. Gives a little extra defensive and a little extra single target. Not much, but it's something if you forget it. Here we in Sentinel again, kinda chilling. Yeah, just holding onto that, sending a bill. Like if the boss is above 30% on a Tyrannical week, I would send my bill. If not, I will save it for the coming pull. You can see me dropping really low, so I just I think I sent it lay on hands, but it's not on CD. I just popped a really big Vok, I guess. But yeah, above 30% on tier week, I would send my bill if you don't have a hammer ready, any of them, because it does like nothing on one target. Yeah, unless you have the talent that throws a bit extra shells. Talk about our comp. This is just a pure puck comp. Joined randomly in a key earlier, and we just kept playing a bit because people were chill and it was working out fine. We have a Resto Droid. Pretty solid on this week. A lot of healing. Ideally, you want the priests in this in this week because of the master spell, but we are dealing without it. Otherwise you can get really good healing classes like druids, or talking about Boomy, enhancement shaman, shadow priest, stuff like that. Heal way too much. But otherwise a DPS comp, bit interesting. We have a monk and a rogue, which buff each other and also give me some power. Which is like rogue is solid on Tyrannical week with the single target, and monk, surprisingly, you can see the damage also on this boss was competitive, almost at the top. They did use some solid single target too. And then we have the fire mage, which I don't think I've played with a fire mage this season, but found on randomly here, and it's actually pretty solid at Tyrannical weeks because they use too much single target, because they are spamming their I think it's called Pyroblast with the new build. Just getting a sip of coffee here. But yeah, they're spamming Pyroblast to both do AoE and single target, so it works out for them this week. You'll also see it later on when we get to Odin, that fire mage is doing some nasty damage. Here, usually when you kill the casters in this pack, you kind of want to get the next pack here. It's the pack on the left, and then you want the pack on the right here also, the 4 pack. Just be ready to have your bell so you can kick the mystics and the Thundercaller and get your aggro, so nobody have to, like, if somebody just jump in instantly and you don't have aggro, it can be a bit interesting. See, I'm sending mine here. A bit late, but ideally I would have had it a bit before. It is Tyrannical, so things die a bit quickly. When you go for the packs, try to either have slow in your concentration, so you they don't hit you in the back, or have somebody like CC them. It's really nice while you collect, like Vortex or the ring from Monk or like Sweep or something. And again, when the casters are dead, we kind of want to move on. Ideally everyone just move on to the next pack, but as we're not on comms, you just have to do what's the best you can do. So I'm just moving here, making sure not to pull the one outside here. For a second here you can see the shield maiden out there. I thought it was the sentinel. Got a bit scared, but it's all good. Here again, we want to focus the Thundercaller because we have so many kicks, and hopefully get somebody else to control Runecarver, ideally the rogue. But yeah, we want to finish off the casters here, and maybe gonna do some Grief Torch, Flamethrower action. Like that trinket is, I don't know, it's so fucking fun. I enjoy that gameplay. It's if you like new to tanking or struggling a bit with your defensives and stuff like that, I would not recommend playing with it. But it's if you can handle your defenses on Tyrannical week, I would give it a shot, because it's like around 10-11%, if not more, single target damage. Last time I checked. Oh shit! On a Tyrannical boss fight, which is kind of huge, and that is me not using it every time, because I still have to get used to the resets and like just using it in general. I don't think about it too much, but it's extra damage, which is like really good, and yeah. Usually as Paladin we like the stats and stuff like that. Activations is not it's usually not something we look for, but in this case you can survive, it's extra damage, it's nice, it speeds up the key a little bit. But here we're doing a bit of a brutal pull, I guess you can call it. It's it's how many targets? It's 8 targets. It's just a lot of frontals. If you have to slow on your consecration, you can just kite these around forever, and you don't have to take a single hit actually. I usually, if I have the if I have some defensives, in this case I bubble or something else, I'm gonna tank them for a bit so people can do their damage without having to, like, the mobs are not moving all the time. Especially helpful ranged, like Death Warlock doing the Rain of Fire. It's like no fun for them that I'm moving around all the time. But it looks more scary than it is. You just have to kite, then you're chilling. Here we're almost having Bloodlust up for a second boss here. It's a spicy one. So we are just gonna do these two mini bosses together. These mini bosses are like there's no really downside to pulling both of them. Like it's only Solstin, the one we engage first in combat, that does damage. The second one just needs to be kicked, and then you just need to use your eyes to dodge these balls. You can see Rogue did die. It's like if you want to be safe, you don't have to pull both, because it's not much extra damage you usually get on the second one, since people are really wanting to kill the storm guy quickly. Yeah, like ideally you pull both, but because some people always tend to die for some reason, you can be safe and just pull Solstin, get him down, and then then kill the other guy here, Ulmyr. And we're about to engage probably the hardest boss for some people in the dungeon here. I really enjoy this fight. It's you have to manage your cooldown a bit, but as a paladin, it's the same as the boss in Temple of the Jade Serpent, like the third boss. It's we have some really strong CDs for it. We have Ardent Defender, which always can survive a hit, because you can like the damage it does. If it breaks, it's from the tank hit, you will survive, because it's the cheat death. And then you also have Bubble, and you can also talent into Buzz, which also can give you a chance to survive a hit. I usually don't. I'm starting to not do it, because I can manage without. I usually like pop Sentinel here, try to off heal a little bit with Lay on Hands, always sacking the healer ideally, or not a squishy DPS, and then I turn around, set my Consecration and pop my Tyr, and then I Word of Glory myself right before the hit goes out, because you get a little extra shield. So just make sure you're topped with Sentinel and Tyr, and then you're chilling. And then in this case we're just gonna be spamming our Holy Power, using our free walk sorry, a free walk proc, just to get Sentinel up as quickly as possible again. Like in this case we can almost use Sentinel again, but we want it for the other side. So here we use AD, safe, chilling, and then again we're gonna pop Sentinel over here into Tyr, and that's ideally what you want to do all the time. Sometimes Tyr won't always be up in like at the time you want, but then you can like use Guardian instead for a hit, and then you also have Bubble for a hit. So yeah, that's like really a lot. And then again, if you're still struggling after Guardian and Bubble, you can talent into the boss. Then you have a third option if you don't manage cooldowns that great. So as Paladin, you should always be kind of chilling here. Just getting some more coffee here. But yeah, here again, we kind of have to use Guardian at this point. I don't really want to use Bubble, so I think we're sending Guardian here. No, we actually just agreed it. We just got a walk proc and another one, and I reduced it. And here we're just building for Sentinel and Tyr. This might be a case where we're gonna use Guardian for the hit. Let's see. We have our potion also. Lay on Hand at someone. We're gonna get Tyr here, so we're chilling hard. Then we are walking ourselves. There we go. A little late. And I think on the last one here we don't build it enough, because you're all feeling a bit. So we're gonna have to use a Guardian for the last hit, which I remember I was a bit sad over. I wanted to save it, but I'm always trying to like mid-max, use as little as possible if you can. But yeah, just taking a hit through Guardian here, and then we're heading on to the next pack. But really good healing by the druids and good defensive usage. This is a nasty boss with the random lightning going out from the boss, and the dot people get, kind of a dot, a big ring that explodes, and then also with Grievous. It's a nasty week, but it's people can use the defensives, and you have a good healer and stuff like that. And of course off healing helps a lot. Like I considered speccing into a lot of off healing this week, but as far it's been kind of okay actually, so I've been holding back. Here we're just gonna do the small 4-pack. This is the smallest pull we're gonna do in the whole dungeon actually. The rest are like upwards of 6, 7, 8, 9 targets. There's another pull actually with 4 bulls, but it's more count, which we're gonna do later on. That 4 bull pull ideally will be done with all the bears actually. But because of bursting and the fact that we are not on comms, I'm just pulling the bears and the bulls separate. Just gonna hit the coffee again here. Don't want it to get cold. But yeah, timer is fine. We don't have any fuck ups yet. We did have the rogue die one time, but like it was a death that didn't really matter. If you're gonna skip the dragon, you just go to the, like when it lands, you just go to the right side. You don't have to run down like I did. I almost fucked it up by doing that. But get the dragon to get 4th, and then you jump on the side and nothing happens. And if you haven't seen this skip of the dragon before, you're gonna be surprised when we head back, because it's kind of ridiculous, but you can like almost walk, like you can almost touch it on the way back, and you don't pull it. It's a bit interesting. Here we have the rogue doing his magic. I'm gonna mark him with a skull. He can, like, every time Fenryr is about to jump, he can go outside and use a vanish to stop the jump. And if you don't know, the way it works is it will target some player, but if the rogue is the furthest target, it will go for that target and reset the jumps. Mage can do that too with Invis or somebody who have Night Melt or whatever. Works really great. Helps a lot on this boss with the dots, so you don't have to heal that, especially on this with Grievous also. I'm just showing off talent quick. I'm misclicking, I guess. I think this one I went with. Usually, as I said this week, I want boss, but I'm trying to get, like, not use it in the dungeons. I don't feel like I need it. Like this one, there's only like, you can only use it on Hydrae, and I don't need it there anymore. But you can give it definitely to your healer or DPS in one of the storms, which is really helpful. But then I would rather like heal people a bit instead of using a talent point for something that's only gonna use like 1 or twice. You can also use it for Odin. If somebody do not have defensives when they're about to go into rooms, you just bust them and it takes 0 damage. Really strong. But again, since we're not on comms, and yeah, I guess I didn't feel like it, I didn't take it. So yeah, but on comms definitely it can be really strong to take. People are missing CDs in phase 2, you just bust them and they're chilling. Here people are a bit confused. I don't know, sometimes people don't look the route, I guess. I'm gonna call on the mage one last time here, because he's just keep standing. Trying to type, he have to move S.
Phase 2.
But when I'm playing, I don't really like typing. I just wanna spam some buttons and kill some stuff. What he wanted to do probably is wait for Bloodlust, but again, we have the rogue on this boss, and the mage can do it too with the stopping the jump, so it's the boss is not that rough. And you can also, like, if you want to be safe, you definitely clear the wolves on the right and the left of the big wolf here, so you have spaces to go. But again, we have the mage and the rogue, so we're kind of chilling. And then if you clear all the wolves, and it's a bit later on, you'll also have the lust here. But what we want to do after here is do one of the bigger pulls in here. We're going to do 9 wolves. Normally I would like to do all the wolves, because they don't really do too much as long as you have range standing on a little secret spot. You will see in a bit here. There's 2 spots you can stand on. There is the pole spot, which you probably have heard about, but that spot, it does still work. Some people say it doesn't work, but it's because they probably fuck it up. You have to be really precise when standing on that spot, otherwise you will they will jump on you, and you're not gonna have a good time. But there's the new spot behind the boss here, above the cave, and it's quite a wide spot you can stand on, and it works the same as the pole. It's just much more secure, so ideally I like to do that. But yeah, just this boss is just I think the biggest thing to do here is to mid-max damage, is kind of to use Bob on a player when he's about to like do the Sin of Blood. He just did on the rogue there, so they don't have to run away and we lose damage. If it's on a rogue, I never use it, because I'm tracking his abilities on the left of the nameplates, and he had evasion off, which means he can just perma-tank the boss. So yeah, I used it on another player earlier. I think it was the druid actually, maybe the mage. Mage can also just ice block it and be chilling.
5, 4, 3, 2.
Yeah, and we have the druid running away. He's no man. I hoped he popped bear form when I sacked him and just took it like a man, but one bite did have his HP, so it's probably good idea he went away. Yeah, I'm trying to get people to jump on the spot. They're running on the pole. Okay, this might be the one where they actually just won the pole. Like I think in the beginning of the route I did ask if people knew this stuff, but and I did get a yes as far as I remember. I did actually, yeah. But yeah. They chose the pole instead, but luckily they know exactly where to stand, like right in the middle. So we're chilling. Here, this you don't have to do what I'm doing right now. You can just pop like your consecration on top of the wolves, and then you just run around with the speed you get in this section. And you are chilling, because the mobs just almost stunned in one area. If you want to be safe, you go Frost Mage with your consecration, and it's like they're stunned, they're not moving. But I chose instead to use all of my defensives and bubble in the last second there, and just face tank them to get it over with quickly, because the next pull, not much happening. Like you would like to have defensive for 2 when you're collecting these guys, but otherwise you don't need much. Here I'm just running around, throwing a hammer or taunting each of these, popping my sentinel when I get it here. I think I'm gonna miss one bear maybe. I'm gonna miss one here. Get a hammer on that guy, and then we're gonna get going here. And the same goes here. Like ideally, if I can, I'm gonna try to see. I'm gonna pop Tyr here. I'm gonna pop Ardent Defender soon, probably. Okay, I'm just gonna kite this one instead, but because I use so much on the wolves, but I always kind of try to tank them as much as I can, just to mid-max the damage, to get the stuff to die quicker, but it's not something that's required. Like just run in circles if you're unsure. There's no reason to try to face tank it. It doesn't speed it up too much. But yeah, we're killing this. After this, we're gonna head into the 4 bulls, and you're gonna see the skip on the dragon afterwards. And then we're gonna get a beer and head upstairs and finish the last part of the dungeon. You know what? Before this is completely cold, I'm gonna take another sip. Now we're gonna head into the bulls. This is the bulls you can do with the bears. yeah, just clump it all off and one around in a circle. These doesn't do too much. Like, they have the rumbling stump, which you can stun, and they also have the hit, which you can outrange or use a defensive for. It can hurt quite a bit, especially in the phase where they enrage. I think it's around 30% or something, they enrage. And when they get to that phase, they also want faster or something. So be ready for that. And then, as in this case, always CC from your group is highly appreciated. It helps a lot. Just make sure to like find the area where there's not too many of the stacks and run around that. Otherwise, you could easily like pull one of the stacks. It happens quite often. If you do, it's not the worst. Like, just dodge the charts. Here you're gonna see the thing that's probably gonna blow your mind if you haven't seen it before. You just run right by the tree here, jump by the tree, and you do not pull the boss. They do invis. One guy did for safety, but you don't have to. You just run right by and nothing happens. It looks really sketchy. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop the beer and then we're gonna sprout up to the last part. Yeah, I'm still typing like a monkey. Like when you're used to pressing certain buttons mid key, I don't know, I can't type. Always happens. But yeah, we're gonna do on the left side. I'm gonna throw one beer on the one to the far left, and then I'm gonna talk to the one close at the left, and then we're just gonna go in a circle around, always fighting to trying to focus the one that's lowest HP to get the next one going. And yeah, on the last part we're just gonna hyper focus the big one and make sure to kick the stuff here, otherwise it's likely a wipe if the war goes through, especially on if it's fortified. Sure, you might just survive, but just make sure to kick it. But yeah, this part, probably the spiciest thing that can happen to you is when you have to get aggro on these guys, it can be a bit interesting when you like talk to them, because there goes some time before they activate. I would say like when you talk to a guy, run like 2 to 3 globals, ideally 2 globals, and then shift to the other target and just instantly taunt him. Then you're sure you will get him every time. And the stacking debuff they have, I don't have any of the stacks right now. I was lucky to parry, but you can see that severe coming there. Now I have 1 stack. When it hits around 3 stacks, 4, you kind of need some defense. It's getting kind of spicy, because then your armor is reduced by like 60 to 80%, 20% per stack. You can just bubble it, and like quickly do a bubble and remove all the stacks. The way you usually can do that is like if one dies and while you're talking to another one, quickly taunt the one you're in combat with, bub quickly, and then you get off with the stacks. If you want to do it while you have 2, you kind of have to wait for one of them to hit and then taunt the other guy and bub quickly. That way you can like survive for a long time versus these mobs, especially if you're considering pulling all of them. But if you like, you can pull all of them, but it's again in pucks, so it's a bit harder to make work. But yeah, ideally just do what I did, do 2 of them by the time. It's quite quickly too. But yeah, I'm gonna finish this off, and we're gonna hit just around 29 minutes before the boss is here. If you are at 29 minutes and like just died at 29 minutes, you're sure that you have timed it. You have enough time. The only thing it comes down to at this point is just, can you deal with Odin? How many phases are you gonna do with Odin? We did 2 phases on Odin. You'll probably go to 3 phases sometimes this week with Odin, depending on how much damage you munch into the increased damage window. Classes that I have seen that's really broken on this fight is BM Hunter and Fire Mage. They do so much single target, it's insane. Enhancement is also really good for these phases. BM is just like, if you have a priest with PI, they're doing like 100k amount that target consistently throughout the whole fight. And as you're gonna see, your Fire Mage, I think he did like 95k overall or something, popping over 100k overall on the fight, which is really huge. This Skovald fight is like, he could be a mini boss. He's kind of a joke. He has the dash here, which is probably the scariest part. What I'm trying to do is always like sec whoever it targets if I have it up. Otherwise you just want to use a little defensive for when he does his big hit, which we're gonna get hit by here, Savage Blade. You can also survive without a defensive, but ideally have a defensive buff if you want to be safe. And then I'm gonna pop the shield late here. You can pop it wide as it goes, but just pop it when there's a little chunk left. Then you can dodge the next hit here if it's a Savage Strike. So you don't have to use a defensive for it, which is a little cheat. And then you have the other part here. Again, you can stun the mobs to help out a bit, but just ignore the mobs. Do your single target on the boss and just dodge or AoE the mobs down. They don't really do anything. The damage was not the highest here. You can see the rogue. For some reason he struggled a bit here. He did kind of low damage. I'm not sure what happened, but it all went good in the end. But yeah, not much else happening here. Again, we're going into the shields. Cleared the buff a bit early there. Kind of want to make sure you at least clear the buff like under 5 seconds to mid-max the healing and the damage you get from it. Sometimes you just gotta clear. Again, just trying to stand a bit in the back to bait these ads. You don't get hit quite far back when standing by the AoE, so you're safe to do so.
Defensive.
Again here popping a Tyr to avoid the damage from the hits and then healing ourselves up. And just gonna try to move a bit away from the spots because we're getting a lot of the nasty stuff. And the timer is still fine. I think we're gonna be around with the RP and stuff. We're gonna engage Odin in combat like around 34 minutes. And as you're gonna see, he's gonna die quite quickly compared to the fact that it's Tyrannical week. Of course, different comps can do different things, but try to make sure you have some single target pumpers this week. It's gonna help you a lot in this dungeon, especially on the last boss here, because the scary thing with Odin is, of course, people being confused and not finding their mark, and they're just gonna die off. The other thing is when he places the spears after you have been in the damage phase, he places like 2 to 3 spears at the same time, and when they get placed, each of them deal a certain amount of damage. Sometimes you even need defensive for it because it deals so much damage, and then if they have to use defensive for that and they also want to use defensive to get to the marks, people will like easily run out and then they just die off and they won't be able to go to like a third phase. That's why you like ideally want people to pump, have good single target pump. And we're just gonna talk to Odin here, get him to do a little duel with us. Popping Sentinel pull here just to get our damage going, and our grief dodge too. You can save Sentinel for the damage phase, but our damage is like, it is minor compared to what the other DPSs are doing. So, and we also like get Sentinel kind of quickly after we pop a Bloodlust. So like to get overall more damage, I'm just popping Sentinel on pull. It might be more worth it to wait for it. So if you want to do that, you can do it, but it is definitely not necessary. We're gonna finish off the ad, and then we're gonna get to our marks. Gonna have a yellow marker here. Gonna get into position, and then we're gonna pop our pre-pots, and we're just gonna start pumping all that we have. Get some resets on the hammers. Good timing on Thundering too, which is really, really huge. And then we scale everything starts. You can see 2 spears spawning. Got like rogue and monk to like 20% HP. 2 more. Little better there. So some heavy hitters. And here, what you ideally can do with the ads is like on the way out, throw a shield in it, or cast like your hammer if you have it before you go out. Then you're sure that you like can make it back and not die. Here we're gonna go for another round. Spears is gonna shatter. I wanted to sack someone here, but I didn't have it up. I'm just kinda trying to find my spot. Proccing here. Our rogue does die, so we get him up quickly, and then we start pumping again. You can see the boss is almost dead. 4% left. Just gonna finish him up here. No matter if the ad spawns or not. You just have to make sure to have the ad stunned or to kick it. No reason to damage it at this point. We are in a scary position here, but I saw somebody popping CDs, and we were so like, I'm gonna bubble the last year just for fun, but people were so the boss was so low and people are pumping so hard, so there was no point in moving that position and stopping that damage. But yeah, we timed it. 1 minute and 20 seconds left. Getting some 3 sweet IO, not much, but it is something. But yeah, that was the one. We did like almost 50k as a Paladin. It's kind of okay. You lose quite a lot of damage because of all the kiting you do in this dungeon. But as long as you survive and you have some single target pumps and people who have some solid healing on themselves, you can definitely do some magic this week. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the content, and I will see you in the next video.